Welcome to In My Opinion 4, Tales of Xillia 2. Taking place a year after the first game, Riza, Maxi, and Olympias are trying to reach peace, but still in shaking grounds. Enter our semi-silent hero, Luca, who gets caught in the middle of a terrorist attack. During said attack, he runs into a little girl named Elle, who is searching for the way to the land of Canaan, a place where any human's wish can come true, and tags along with Luca. Doing some crazy events, you find out Luca's brother Julius has gone rogue from the Spirits Corporation, in which his job was to destroy fragmented dimensions, which are like what-if worlds, which are weakening your world, and collect waymarkers to gain access to the land of Canaan.
Souls will vanish from the prime dimension. Of course, this means humans will die out as well.
Luca takes up his brother's job to find out what happened to him, and to reach the land of Canaan with Elle by his side.
Okay.
You run into plenty of familiar faces during the adventure. Thankfully, a year hasn't changed their personalities too much. They are still the same enjoyable cast of characters with a brand new wardrobe. Though if you didn't care for them the first time around, there's little hope your feelings would change about them in Xillia 2.
You hungry fat cat.
While the main story isn't as long as the first game, it's still an enjoyable adventure. The game is split into 16 chapters with things to do in between. The character interactions are nicely done, entertaining, and you grow to care about the old cast again, as well as the new faces such as Luger and Elle. There were parts that made me laugh, some that tugged at my heartstrings a bit, and just some general entertaining kick-ass moments. Seeing some of these fractured dimensions was pretty interesting. Just noticing how different the world can be with just some changes, and how our heroes handle the thought and guilt of dooming one world just to save theirs. Just a heads up, if you're jumping into part 2 without playing part 1, or if your memory is a bit fuzzy, the game does have a Xillia encyclopedia to give you little tidbits of information from the first game. It's not the most detailed, but it does help a little. Well, if you played Xillia 1, you'll be comfortable in 2. The core battle system is still basically the same as the first. The link system is still here, in which you and another character can partner up to beat down the enemies. Your link arch gauge will keep filling up as long as you and your partner continue to attack. Each time you hit a line point, you can do a team art, which will continue to fill your gauge. Once the gauge hits its maximum point, you can do multiple team attacks in a row, as long as it's not the same exact attack. Even switching up your weapons and teammates on the fly can help keep the combo going. Another option you have is the ability to do a solo mystic arc, or a super badass tag mystic arc. These are both visually awesome and powerful. Xillia 2 also allows you to use Gaius and Muse in combat, so if you always wanted to use them in Xillia 1, well, here you go.
Look at you.
As you heard me mention, you can now switch between weapons, 3 to be exact, though it's only for Luger. The 3 weapon types are 2 blades, 2 pistols, and a sledgehammer. Each feel great and are varied enough that you don't feel like you're playing with the same 3 weapons. Blades as you get up quick and personal with the enemy, the sledgehammer is slow but powerful and covers a lot of space, and the pistols are good for taking out enemies from afar, land, or air, with even a fancy robe. Each weapon also has their own list of arts, and since you can easily switch them on the fly during combos, it allows you to try and be creative in combat. Luger can also tap into Commandus mode, which is basically a super version of Luger. You can activate said mode when the timer in the lower right has at least 1 circle filled. While transformed, Luger becomes stronger, faster, and can just wail on the enemies. There are 3 different forms, each unlocking while going through the story mode. Remember, you are timed, so it's best to deal out the damage as fast as possible. So at the end of the day, if you enjoyed the combat from the first game, well, here's some more. Just with some weapon switching and transformations for one of the playable characters. But if you hated Xillia 1's combat, this won't change your mind. One of the new mechanics added to Xillia 2 is the power of choice. Basically, during conversations, 2 options of dialogue will pop up, each getting a different dialogue reaction. The majority of these choices do not affect the outcome of the story. It's only near the end where some of the choices actually give you a certain outcome. What choices really help with is getting your affinity higher with certain characters. You can tell by the face icon shown when you make a certain choice. Though for some odd reason, Elle, Julius, and Beasley don't get the face confirmation when you pick a choice for them.
What do you think you're doing?
I honestly don't get why someone thought this was a good idea. Anywho, The rewards for getting high affinity is stuff like new outfits for the characters, new skills, new arts, and the ability to do the big team up arts. You even get a choice of what to call some of the arts. While the choice system itself wasn't the deepest out there, it still was a nice little addition to spice things up and gave the player a little freedom in dialogue.
Here, just take this.
Something that's pretty cool is that if you make a choice during the skit and wonder what would have been the outcome you chose differently, you can see the skit again and choose. However, the affinity you got the first time won't change if you do it again.
I know, right? It's all about mobility.
One of the other changes from Xillia 1 to Xillia 2 is that the Lithium Orb system is gone. You now just level up like any other normal JRPG and your stats increase for each level. However, getting arts and skills are handled with a new Lithium Orb system. You now get elemental orbs after each battle which go into your extractor. Depending on what extractor you have equipped, new arts can be unlocked, old arts can be leveled up, and new skills can be unlocked. I honestly didn't find this system better or worse than the Lithium Orb system, but I will say it feels a bit more straightforward. What's great is that you don't have to worry about any of the characters that are not in the party, as they will also get a cut of the XP and elemental orbs.
See ya later.
Awesome.
I bet.
Another change is how skill points are gathered. Now you have to defeat a certain monster X amount of times to increase a certain character's SP. The game does a good job keeping track of this, avoiding any headaches. Between each of the story chapters you have what's called a debt period. Yep, that's right. In Xillia 2 you have a huge ass medical debt to pay. You have to pay a certain amount of debt to unlock the next chapter. But don't worry, with the job board you will have no problem paying off these sections. The job boards allow you to take contracts, 5 at a time to be exact, in which you can gain cash and points. Points upgrade your title, allowing you to do more contracts that have bigger rewards. Most of the contracts are kill X amount of this monster or find X amount of this item. Though there are some that trigger little character moments, which I find rather nice since it feels like a little reward which make the contracts a little less monotonous. There's also an elite monster list. Killing these gain you a huge reward in points and cash. But be warned, some of these can be pretty tough. The game does a great job letting you know where these monsters and items are, so it doesn't become a frustrating experience, and even lets you know when you completed a contract. What does get sorta annoying is the fact you get constantly reminded to pay your damn debt. At first it wasn't much of a bother, but if you have a certain amount of cash and don't pay a set amount, the debt collector will constantly bug you and pop up each section you go to. So it's best to pay as much as you can so she can stop hassling you.
Sorry, got orders to make you pay up.
During the debt periods, you can also tackle character story missions. In these missions, you get to see what's been going on with the Xillia characters since the last time you saw them, and what they've been trying to achieve. You even get more factual dimensions connecting to whoever's story you're doing. I enjoyed these as it gives more story and development of the cast instead of making them feel like lame cameos and nothing more. You have things like Jude still working on inspired research and trying to close the gaps between humans and spirits, Leia aiming to become a true reporter, and Muse trying to come more closer with the group, with some weird and funny results. Another extra you get from this is the bonus scenes. During the main story, there are moments where some of the characters will throw in some extra dialogue if you've been doing the story missions.
Oh, no problem. I won't run it until after you finish your work.
Thanks to the game's map system, you can easily tell when one of these become available and are located. This also goes for any of the job events and plot progression points. You can then easily walk from the map screen to anywhere in the world you want to, as long as you already visited it. You also don't have to worry about the game's main story mission popping up and forcing you to start if you've already paid the chapter's debt, since the game will ask you if you want to start or not, giving you more time to handle other side activities. This lets you proceed with the story at your own pace. You might have noticed Luger's chubby cat Rolo. Well, this cat ain't here just being another cute face. His importance is in Kitty Dispatch. The title pretty much says it all. You will dispatch Rolo to different areas that will net you materials you normally couldn't get out in the field, and even costume accessories. You can also get more cats to help in the search. Some weird cat pun lady has also a ton of cats, and you can find them out in the open and with the dispatch. The higher number of cats, the higher chance of getting more stuff. What's pretty helpful is that each day gives you a certain bonus, like finding 3 times more of the items, and so forth. Some of the other side activities is the Return to the Coliseum, where you can take on foes with another partner or the whole team.
We got this.
Then there's poker, in which you can take chips you earn to buy prizes. One being friendship potions, which help you increase your affinity a bit faster than the usual way. The game also allows you to make items such as weapons, armor, and so forth. You just need to make sure you have the right materials. Xillia 2 looks exactly like Xillia 1. The character models can still come off stiff at times, and the game uses every single map from 1. Heck, they even use the same enemies. You get 2 or 3 new areas in story mode, but for the most part, you'll be walking down a lot of familiar roads. That's not to say it's all bad. The areas, while still the same, still look really good and varied. Same goes for our cast and their brand new outfits.
And
The
why
English voice
shouldn't we?
cast also makes a
Look how
return,
many
giving the
cats
same
he
great
rules over
performance
now.
as it did in the first
I
game,
guess so.
and the same
In
can be
fact,
said about the new
he's almost
characters.
transcended kinghood.
Though some of
He's
Mila's
like a
line
cat
delivery
emperor
can
now.
be a bit off,
That even
but it wasn't a
outranks
constant
Lord of
thing.
Spirits. What? No one outranks Maxwell. Not even a cat emperor.
There are also moments when the frame rate drops in battle, but it's very rare. For the most part, combat sections are fast and smooth. While Xillia 2 recycles just about every area and enemy from the first game, I wouldn't completely write it off as crap. The combat is very fun and fluid, the story while on the short side is still interesting, and you care about the new and returning cast, and want to see how everything ends. Don't forget, you also have the character story missions which expand on the previous cast. There are also 5 different endings, 3 having to do with choice, and the other 2 having to do with your debt and extra stuff in New Game Plus. Like other Tales games, in New Game Plus you can use your grade points to choose what you bring over. There's also the Battle Coliseum, Poker, Item Crafting, Cat Dispatching, and the job board if you're a completionist. My playthrough took about 60 to 70 hours, and this is counting all the extra stuff I did. While I didn't find the sequel leaps and bounds better than the first game, it still was a good and enjoyable experience. If you hated Xillia, this game will not change your mind. But if you enjoy Xillia's combat and cast, I still say pick it up and give it a try. I hope you enjoy my thoughts on this game, and for gamer's sake, keep gaming.